So, what if the entire way companies find and talk to their customers is, well, broken? Today, we're diving into a business model that isn't just trying to patch things up, it's building something completely new from the ground up. And it all starts with this really powerful idea. How do you build a thriving city right in the middle of a barren desert? And this image, it just perfectly captures the whole thesis. We're not in the old marketing world anymore. We've entered what's called dark GTM, a new digital frontier where, honestly, your customers have gone to hide. But this isn't some chaotic Wild West. No, it's a destination that's being built with a very deliberate, very specific blueprint, inspired by one of the boldest construction projects in history. And that really is the central question, isn't it? If all the old ways of reaching people have turned into a digital ghost town, how on earth do you convince anyone to pack up and move to your brand new city? I mean, where would you even start? Well, here's the big insight. The people who built Las Vegas, they didn't start with the flashy casinos. They started by controlling the boring stuff, the power, the water, the roads. They owned the pipes. And that right there is the Ready Stack thesis in a nutshell. You have to own the fundamental infrastructure of this new digital economy. Now, this vision didn't just come out of nowhere. It's from a founder who has actually seen this exact pattern play out before. We're talking about someone who is a key player in totally transforming software distribution and audio streaming. So this isn't a guess. It's about repeating a proven pattern in a market that is just desperate for a change. So what is this digital desert we're talking about? Well, we're calling it dark GTM. And it's basically where all your customers have gone to hide. Seriously. They've run away from the intrusive ads, the constant tracking, the endless sales pitches. They're hanging out in private communities, learning about things anonymously. ReadyStack's whole strategy isn't to try and drag them back out into the noise, it's to build the city right where they already are. Okay, so to really get why this new city is so important, we have to take a little walk through the ruins of the old one. The traditional go-to-market playbook, or GTM, it's not just a little inefficient anymore. For a lot of businesses, it's become a total ghost town. The source material really nails it with this line: the well has been poisoned. All those old tactics, the aggressive cold outreach, the pixel tracking, the invasion of privacy, they've basically contaminated the entire environment. Trust, which is the most vital resource for any business, has been completely drained. And here's the cold, hard number behind that poisoned well: 16%. Just let that sink in. That's the percentage of consumers who actually believe the advice they get from social media now. When trust falls that low, the entire system just grinds to a halt. And the economics? They're just as broken. For some of the biggest companies out there, the time it takes to make back the money they spent to get a new customer has stretched out to 36 months. Can you imagine spending money today that you won't see a return on for 3 years? It's completely unsustainable. You know, this isn't just a business problem. It's a human crisis. You've got buyers literally hiding from the people trying to sell to them. You have thousands of brilliant creators making amazing products, but they're stuck. They're basically living in the basement with no way to get to market. And then you have sales teams everywhere just getting crushed, missing their quotas. The whole system is failing everyone. Okay, so enough about the ghost town. Let's talk about the new destination that's being built. This is the solution. This is the first shiny new building on the horizon of that dark GTM desert. The absolute foundation of this new city is something called the Ready Stack container. And this is so key. This is not a website. It's not a blog post. Think of it more like an interactive resort. It's a place where you don't just sit back and read or watch. You actively learn, you do things, and you can even rewind and try again. You're actually executing processes, which turns you from a passive tourist into an active operator. And the proof is right there in the engagement. Because people are actually working inside the container, not just scrolling, the average time they spend there is over 8 minutes. That's the company's mechanical advantage. In the world of Google and AI search, that kind of deep engagement is like a nuclear signal that you're providing incredible value. And this all ties directly into the business model. Because ReadyStack owns its own infrastructure, it owns the land and the pipes, it doesn't have to pay rent to big cloud providers. This creates what the company calls structural arbitrage, and it results in a mind-blowing 98.5% margin. That massive margin is the fuel that powers this entire new economy. So, this brings us to the engine of the whole city. How does this high-margin infrastructure actually create a massive wealth transfer and make its citizens, its partners, successful? It's all about making sure everyone's incentives are aligned. A full 60% of the revenue from what's called hosted automation fees is paid directly back to the people in the ecosystem. The person who shares it gets 40%, and the person who created it gets 20% for life. This isn't some one-time commission, it's a lifelong revenue-generating asset. It basically lets everyone get into the software business without any of the cost. And this slide just lays out the massive shift in thinking. The old way is a fixed cost. You pay for ads upfront and just hope they work. ReadyStack is a variable payout. You only pay when something is successful. You stop renting temporary leads, and you start building a permanent asset that generates revenue. This whole system creates 4 incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing growth loops. Partners bring in other partners. They share really valuable content with users. The deep engagement from those users drives huge SEO authority. And then, and this is the kicker, any user can become a partner themselves, sharing to earn their own revenue, which turns the entire system viral. It is designed from the ground up for exponential growth. So when you put all of these pieces together, the unique product, the insane financials, and this unstoppable distribution engine, you get the final piece of the vision, the creation of what's called an unassailable moat. And let's be really clear, this isn't about competing with the old model. It's about making it completely obsolete. It's a strategic move that fundamentally changes the entire game. It is, in a single word, checkmate. This moat is built on 3 massive pillars: the container, which is a fundamentally different product, the margin, which is an unbeatable financial advantage, and the flywheel, a compounding distribution engine. So to compete, you don't have to beat one of them. You have to beat all 3 at the same time. Good luck with that. And the founder's closing thought really brings it all home. He says it's not about the numbers on a spreadsheet today. It's a bet on 3 things. First, the resonance, that this message connects with a market that is in serious pain. Second, the infrastructure, that the pipes can handle the scale. And third, that a visionary can repeat a proven pattern of success for a 4th time. And that leaves us with the final, really provocative question. When the old way of doing things is not just inefficient, but completely uninhabitable for both the buyers and the sellers, is the creation of an entirely new city, a new destination, not just an opportunity, but an absolute inevitability?